go through. With PTSD also, I'm ex-military. But I learned how to turn it into microphone techniques. So I'm going to freestyle, and then I'm going to tell y'all a little something. Because Wanda D told me to freestyle. Say, I am enough.
I am enough.
I am enough. Hard with the drums. I am enough.
I am enough.
I am enough.
I am enough.
I come from the boogie down, south side of town. MCs like me, we come incredible. See, I've been spending so much time in my head. Grab the microphone, did you hear what I just said? I got skills, rocking on the mic, I pay bills all the time. Rapping on the beat with the rhyme. I'm coming off the top of my mind. I do this all the time. This is how I rhyme. I am enough.
I am enough.
Sing it, I am enough.
I am enough.
I am enough.
I am enough.
I am enough. Times right now are totally rough. Every time I'm dealing with this stuff, I grab the microphone and I don't bluff. And when I hold the microphone, I'm like the bluff. Sit back and watch the crowd rock. I grab the microphone non-stop. Blast the microphone is, I got a bonus to grab this mic and do just what I like. Too much hesitation, I had to take a turn. Sit back, relax so I can unwind. Messing with my mind. Now I gotta come out here and show this one time that I could have rhymed. Say a little stuff that was on my mind. And this is how we do. Are y'all with me? I'm with you too. Say I am enough.
I am enough.
Say I am enough.
I am enough.
Come on, times are tough and you know it's rough. But say I am enough.
I am enough.
Say I am enough.
I am enough.
I am enough.
I am enough.
I am enough. I'm from the Bronx, baby. Alright.
In the 8C.
Wanda is considered one of the most passionate and positive people you'll ever meet, both personally and professionally. Her inspirational mentoring, sales, and customer service training has dubbed her to be Wanda D. Hollis, the motivational queen. She launched Wanda D TV, a revolutionary online real estate talk show where local businesses and community leaders discuss their services, issues, and concerns. Wanda is passionate about helping people achieve their goals and dreams. She has gone on to pursue many passions, including her I Am Enough talk show, having a seat on the West Georgia Board of Realtors, author of inspirational and motivational books, and also a strong supporter of several nonprofit organizations within her community. Wanda believes that there's no such thing as bad decisions, only regrets of not making the right attempt. For speaking engagements or to book her for your next event or conference, please visit www.IamEnough365.com.
Welcome to the I Am Enough talk show. It's me, Wanda D, the motivational queen, your accountability coach, helping you get it done. And yes, we are here. We made it. We made it to a new day. You need to give yourself a pat on the back because you're here. You woke up winning. You woke up knowing that you are enough. You woke up knowing that you are God's number one chosen masterpiece. I need a bell. That deserved a bell right there. Yes. And if you don't know, now you know, okay? Because this is the place where you can get all your encouragement, inspiration, motivation, so you can stay dedicated to your purpose, because that's what it's all about. It's all about waking up, winning, knowing that you have a destiny designed just for you, and nobody can stop you from getting there except you. So I just want to welcome everybody. This is the I Am Enough show. We're a talk show where your dreams matter. And today we're going to be talking with Dr. Flava. I am so excited. I have gotten text messages, people saying, when is she coming on? We want to be there. I have had responses of I got my notes ready. I'm ready to take notes, ready to learn, because you know what we do? We take notes so we can take action, because note takers are money makers, and everybody on this line needs to be in the mindset of making money and taking notes and doing whatever you need to do. And today we're going to be talking about some health and whatever else this queen has going on. And let me just tell you a little bit about what I know about her. first of all, I met her at an event, prior, what is this, post COVID? No, pre-COVID. We used to get out a lot. We used to get out and do a lot of events and stuff. And I met meet a lot of people out while I'm out networking. And I had met her at the it was a extravaganza of at the church, and she was there, with her big smile, and she just I mean, just when you see her, you'll know what I'm talking about. All right, just take my word for it. Smile lit up the room, and as I was walking, just introducing myself and meeting people, she just stood out. And I always knew that this day would come where we would have this conversation, just because of what she's doing. She's very committed to bringing us healthy spices, put making our mouth have this pleasant surprise going on inside. Y'all gets the gist of it. Nobody wants to eat bland food, right? Now I am inside of my vegan celebration. I started it July the 20. Let me look at the calendar. July the 27th, right? So I have a ball. I was talking to a friend of mine earlier. She said, "You know what, Queen? You be, when you're in the kitchen, you be smiling, you be feeling good, you be excited." I said, "Really?" I said, "But you know what? I really am excited. Anytime you know what you know and you applying the things that you just get excited." And I'm on this quest about optimum health. And so, I'm really conscious of the people that I run across and what they're doing. And I want them to come and add value to our groups and our relationships, because we all need to know that there's better ways. There's a better way to avoid lower health problems, diabetes, blood pressure, all of these things that we can prevent by making sure that we put the right foods in our body. So I'm gonna bring her in so she can explain to you who she is and what makes her so magical. Okay, so dun-dun-dun-dun, drum roll, drum roll. Hey,
Hello, hello.
how are you today?
I'm doing amazing. Thank you so much for that amazing, awesome, uplifting intro. I loved it. I love the music. I was just like, hey, I'm from
You
Jersey, so
you was getting
excuse me.
it. Wow.
So
Yeah,
I was feeling it, and I'm so glad we had this opportunity. Yes, we met at New Birth for
right,
the
right, right.
Kwanzaa Plaza,
Kwanzaa
and
celebration.
right, right, it
Yeah.
was the Kwanzaa Plaza. So that was an awesome, wonderful event that they put on, and I'm glad that we met.
I know. And I have been watching you. I watch when you're in the kitchen and you
Yay!
do your stuff, and now you're TikToking. I, I watch that too. And I don't know. You just I was drawn to you because of your energy, because of your
Mhm.
smile, and so classy.
Thank
You're
you.
beautiful, and you can tell when people have a sense of pride about what they do, because it just comes
Exactly.
out through everything. So
Exactly.
let's just start at the top, Dr. Flavor. And now I didn't want to butcher your last name. I
Yes.
went to Google. Google told me how to pronounce it. I still couldn't get it right. So I
Well,
said,
it looks more difficult, but it's without me using an accent. It's a fetabor, so that's the easiest way. But when my husband says it, or it's a fetabor. But a
okay.
fetabor, I let people say it that way just because it's a little bit easier. But it's a fetabor.
Affectable. Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
they didn't say that right on the Google. They did not say that.
Apatoric. That's probably what it said. Apatoric.
Yeah, and I was like, wait a minute, that just okay. But you're AKA Dr. Flavor.
Yes, yes. And people, it was funny because I was going by, let me see if I move my head, Dr. Trey, because my name
Uh-huh.
is Tremaine. And I realized people were calling me Dr. Flavor because of Dr. Flavor spices. So I
Right.
think last summer I was at this event and I kind of asked the question. It was like, I was like, should I do Dr. Flavor? Because people do ask me,
Right.
and I decided, I was like, it works. People know me as Dr. Flavor. So I'm Dr. Flavor, your wellness foodie pharmacist.
Yes, and that's how I've been introducing you all week, talking
Hmm.
about you because we're in this 100 days of motivation to manifestation. So
Awesome.
every day, right? So every day, I'm talking about Sunday. What's going to happen Sunday? What's going to happen Sunday? Y'all going to meet
Hmm.
Dr. Flavor on Sunday. So it's
Yay.
just it's exciting to have this opportunity. So I want to get out of your way, and what I want you to do is just introduce our viewers to who you are. Tell them a little bit about yourself. I know you got a
Mhm.
family, kids, like just give them
Yeah.
the whole story. Take your time, take about 3-5 minutes and introduce yourself. I'm gonna move out the way though. I'm gonna get out the way and let you do that.
All right. Well, good evening, everyone. I am Dr. Tremaine Jones of Festival, aka Dr. Flava, your wellness foodie pharmacist, and I help you transform the way that you eat and think to create a healthier life before the prescription. I created my healthy seasoning line called Dr. Flava Spices 3 years ago while working as a pharmacist. And I realized, even with my own health concerns, I have been the patient and the expert. And talking to patients over the years, I realized that health starts in the kitchen. So I wanted to create something that did not involve medication, which is my seasoning line, Dr. Flava Spices. So I started out with 2. Now I have 10 yummy flavors. And I'm also an author. I wrote The Pharmacist Guide, How to Health Yourself. I am a mom of 2. I have 2 toddlers, a 2-year-old and a 5-year-old. They keep me busy. Happily married for 11 years. And I am a full-time entrepreneur. I've practiced pharmacy for 15 years. And last year made my departure, and just on this journey to truly help people to transform the way that they think about food. Especially in our culture, we believe that flavorful food has to be packed with these recipes that we grew up with, which are filled with a lot of sodium, a lot of fat, or either a lot of sugar. And I'm just like, well, how can I take the same food and these recipes that I grew up eating? How can I tweak them a little bit? And over the years, I realized that the biggest thing is the flavor. So I created Dr. Flava, and each one of my seasonings are packed with 8 to 13 herbs and spices. So you don't have to think about what you're putting on your food. People go to Pinterest, people Google recipes, and sometimes I laughed at my own self because I remember I would go to a certain grocery store here in Atlanta and they would do the demos and I would buy these things and I would never use them again. So I just want people to be free in the kitchen. I want you to enjoy yourself in the kitchen and pick up any one of my seasons and shake it on your food. That's what I'm all about, ease and comfort. And I just know that food is going to really help a lot of us because a lot of the diseases that we do see or that I was seeing in our community are preventable: diabetes, hypertension, and high cholesterol. Now, it can be hereditary. However, we can start with our food and then other lifestyle modifications. But my approach is not militant. I don't want people to feel like, well, I can't do that. That's just too hard. I want you to start small. Make small steps till you get to where you need to be. And when you start seeing your numbers, which I talk about in my book, and that goes in line with what I believe a proactive versus reactive approach, meaning we're taking a look at our life and our health before it becomes a diagnosis or an issue. Very many times we're waiting till the doctor's like, well, hey, such and such, you're diabetic. Go get your metformin, go pick up your strips, your meter. And it's like, what? Like out of nowhere. So that's what I do. I try to bring a fun, concise, easy approach to how you can eat and think differently because I understand, I grew up in a family where it was like, who cooks the best this, who cooks the best that? And it's like, but is it really helping us, Yes, you may get all those accolades about you cooking the best food during Thanksgiving and Christmas, but then when you go to the doctor, you either feel like you feel really bad because sometimes their approach when you're in healthcare, telling someone it's like, well, you have diabetes. You need to do this, you need to do that. And you kind of feel like I would have patients like, Doc, I can't eat nothing. And that's what people would tell me. Like they felt like everything was being taken away from them.
Mm-hmm.
So I just want people to think about it earlier and think of ways that we can change. So that's what Dr. Flava is all about. I love people. So, COVID right now is kind of hard because I can't get out and talk to people and
Sorry.
meet people. But, we have this,
Yeah,
we have this.
we have the internet, and
Right.
you brought up a lot of stuff, and I want to
I
touch
know.
on. I know, no, it's all good. I want to
Okay.
touch on the balance, because when you made the decision to stop with your pharmacy career after
Hmm.
15 years, and you said you did that last year, how
Hmm.
how did you make that transition? Because I work with a lot of entrepreneurs and a lot of dualpreneurs. So how
Hmm.
did you make that shift to be 100%?
So the shift for me, and I've talked about this on other different podcasts and different things. It wasn't on my own terms per se, but it was something that I had been thinking about. And it was like God was like, if I don't do it for you, then you're never gonna do it, because I kept talking about it.
Right.
And it wasn't that I didn't enjoy being a pharmacist. It was some of the other background stuff that was just, and I really just have a heart for people. So, and it wasn't easy. I mean, financially, pharmacists, we make good money. So to transition completely out to just 100% an entrepreneur and still working some things out, it is different, but God is good. He is a provider. So I'm grateful for that. But I would definitely tell people to make sure that when you're transitioning out, that you have a business that is going to make you money, not just something like you think it's a great idea.
Mm-hmm.
People have been buying my spices for years, and not just new people, repeat people. So I would definitely tell people to make sure when you are ready to step out into entrepreneurship, that you don't just think about just the one product. Are you able to expand? Are you able to offer other services that are in line with what you're doing, and not feel like you have to do 20 different things, but something that's still in line with what you're promoting. So
Mm-hmm.
I would definitely suggest that. And that's what I have been able to do during this time.
Yeah, and I know you mentioned COVID. We're in COVID season. How are you and your family coping through all of that? I mean, you have your children, your husband. How is that at home?
So COVID for us, so people, believe it or not, as bubbly as I am, I like to be at home. I've never been a person like I have to be out and about. That's not me. Now, I do like to have the freedom. I've been telling my husband lately, now with the virtual school, I can't just run to the store real quick because we have to physically be in virtual learning. But for us, we've been doing good. We did do a little bit. Like, it took us some time. This summer, we did two things real quick. We did like a day trip to Callaway Gardens.
Mm-hmm.
And then I took the kids to the zoo in August, but we waited. So we were like real strict. And then yesterday we went to the aquarium. I was a little disappointed as how everything was going. I was like, uh oh. But
What happened at
anyway,
the aquarium?
I just felt, well, the zoo, I guess I was so excited how the zoo had everybody walk this way, everybody come this way. But the aquarium is so big.
Yeah.
So they did have the markers on the floor, but I felt like I wanted to, I'm like, they need someone directing, because some people are walking this way and we're walking that way. So they tried as best as possible. They do have the entrance a little bit different. You have to go through like the garage, but I didn't feel like they did a good job of trying to make sure everyone was 6 feet apart. You had to make sure you were 6 feet apart. So, yeah, I was a little surprised. I was like, oh my gosh, should I get a refund? Should we leave?
Well, we got some people tuned in. So, yeah, guys,
Okay.
thank you for watching. If you have any questions, just put it in the chat. I'll try to pick it up. And I want to say thank you, Winning Circle Podcast, for tuning in. Thank you, Wakita. Thank you, Vivian. Thank you, Monica. Thank you, author Lynette Jewell. Yes,
Hey.
happy day, guys. Thank you. Some other people, I can't see your names. You have to give Facebook permission to show your names. And that's the only way that I can give you a shout out. But I just want to thank everybody for tuning in, and thank y'all for inviting others, and also for sharing. I see that we have a couple people that shared the video stream out. So thank you guys for that. Somebody wanted to know, what does your name mean?
You know what? I would have to ask my husband. I kind of forgot. I'm so sorry. I can't remember. It had something to do about either the head of the house or I can't remember. But yes,
Okay.
it does have a meaning because a lot of my husband's from Ghana, so a lot of the names do have a meaning, but I can't 100% tell you right now.
Okay, they said beautiful name. And Vivian said, "Hi, Dr. Flavor." Um
Hey,
so now how old are your children?
5 and 2,
5 and 2. Wow.
and I'm 40, so that lets you know.
You got your hands full, Queen. You
Yes,
got your
yes.
hands full. When I wanna talk about your kids and how they're 5 and 2. And I
Mhm.
know I have grandchildren
Mhm.
and they don't get along at that age. Do your 5 and 2 year old, do they get along pretty good?
So they do. They're really, really good. I love it. Sometimes my daughter will complain and tells me he doesn't know how to play because he's still a baby. But now that he just turned 2 actually on
Okay.
Sunday, last Sunday. So, and sometimes they'll fight over little stuff, but for the most part, I teach them how to be loving. And I
Mhm.
always tell her to take care of her brother, protect him. So, I'm teaching her that early. So we haven't gotten into the stages, I guess, of maybe once he's like 5 and she's 8 or something, it might be. But right now they're good. They're great together. They watch The Lion King 10
Oh,
times a day.
oh, that's a great the old one or the new
The
one?
new one, the new one. They like them both, so they're walking around singing Akuna Matata, everything.
I saw her. I saw your
Hmm.
daughter. She
Hmm.
came on when you were in the green room,
Oh,
and she said,
she loves the camera, so she wants to be a superstar. She said, "I want to be rich, mommy. I want my own YouTube station."
"Okay,
Yes.
okay, well, mom, you
Hmm.
gotta get her on her own YouTube station." I think it was Monica that said that she's following you because I have your Instagram scrolling. So I think
Yay!
she said that she just followed you on Instagram. So,
And
guys.
I'm trying to share it while you were talking. I'm trying to share it to different people.
Yes. So how you manage to maintain the harmony or the balance within having running your company and then running your household? How do you manage that?
Ooh, okay. So I'm not the most scheduled person. I'm working on that because I tell my husband I believe some of the stress that I create for myself is because I have grown to be such a free spirit and not always organized. So I'm getting better at time frames of when I can work and when I can do certain things. So that way I don't over stress myself. And I think a lot of times when you look at everything and try to do everything at one time, that's when we become stressed. So I'm old school. I write a list and I'm like, okay, good. I got that done. Cross the line through it. I feel good when I cross my line through it,
Mhm.
That's how I work. And then I'll go on to the next thing. And I have to talk to myself. Number one, I have a strong relationship with God. So whenever I feel overwhelmed or stressed, I'm like, okay, God, I need to allow you to direct my path. Speak to me. Show me how you want me to do things. So that's number one. That's how I really get through my days. And then number two, I have such a supportive husband. Oh my gosh, he helps me so much. Whenever I do lives, he like sets up all my stuff for me and he gets everything all together for me and my daughter. So, and I involve them in
Mm.
the business. My daughter, she's been around since the birth of Dr. Flavor. So I think for me is number one, having that relationship with God. Number two, really not trying to do everything at one time, writing a list, getting things done, and prioritizing. And then the third thing is having a great relationship with my family and just involving them in the process because when they know when mommy has to do certain interviews or,
Mm.
mommy's has to do this and they're like, okay, and everyone is like gives me the space that I need.
Right. And I think when I met you, wasn't your mom there?
Yeah, so my mom was here from Jersey. She came down.
Yeah.
They usually come for Thanksgiving, but I don't think they're coming this year. So that's our
Okay.
time. And it was kind of last minute. I was like, Mom, I'm doing this quadruplaza. You gonna help me? And so she was like, yeah. And we were there like all
Yeah.
day. I think we set up at like 7 or 8 a.m.,
Uh-huh.
something like that. And we were there for a long time of the day, and she rolled with me because she was like, I'm gonna help my baby.
I know that's right. I know that's right. I remember, and it's and mothers always stand out to me when
Hmm.
they're helping their daughters. I know I have another friend. Her mom helps her a lot, and she's in the event planning
Hmm.
space, and her mother is always there, to assist her. And I just think that's great. I know when my mother was alive, she would often be with me as
Hmm.
well when I would do
Oh.
events. She would just be like, "I'm coming," I
Hmm.
remember when I did my first event, she was right there, so it's just an attraction I have with that
Oh.
mother-daughter, relationship. But I want
Right.
to get into talking about how did you I know the short story about the you getting started, but
Mhm.
what was that turning point for you to say, you know what, I am going to experiment and try some blends, some flavors. What was that process like for you?
So for me, naturally, I am a cook. I love to cook. I have been cooking probably since I was like I was 5. I would be in the kitchen with my grandmother during the summertime, and I just loved it. And I saw how well she cooked. And then my mom, she could really cook. So when I was in high school, everyone knew me. Well, not everyone, but my friends knew me for cooking. And then when I went to college,
Mhm.
I used to throw down and I became an RA just so I could have my own room because I was like, I got to cook my own food.
Mm,
And I started, I was cooking there and I used to say, oh, I'm going to have a restaurant. So then, as fast forward, I became a pharmacist, but I would always cook for like the Christmas parties and different things like that. And people were like, wow, you can really cook. So then I was like, oh, okay, well, maybe I can make a little extra money by meal prepping for people. So I
mhm,
started a catering business back in 2000. I didn't have my baby yet, so it had to be like 2014.
mhm.
And I started doing that for about a year. And I was like, husband, I'm tired. I was just like, I'm tired of this. I want people to cook for themselves. And I said, people don't cook for themselves because they don't know how to make the food taste good. And one day he came in the kitchen. He was like, really? It takes all of this? My counter was like full. I'm going to the farmer's market getting spices. I'm using Tony's mixed with adobo and then all these fresh herbs and spices. And I was just like, that's why people don't cook. This is just too much. But my food tasted really good. So, fast forward 2016, I had done quite a few multi-level marketing businesses. So, they drill into you about entrepreneurship. And I always wanted something of my own. So I was just playing around. Another friend and I were talking, and I was like, let me go to Amazon, order some spice bottles. And I had did 2 blends. And I was like, what are the 2 things that I like? So it was my original blend,
Mhm.
because I was like, we need an all purpose. And then it was like a Creole because I was using Tony's. Tony's was too spicy and too salty. So you couldn't use too much of that. I never used Lowry's, but Tony's was my go to. So I was like, but I need something that everybody, can use. So that was 2016, did them as Christmas gifts. I went to Amazon, bought these glass bottles. I made up my own little thing, like how I wanted it to look. Went on the internet, just started looking at stuff, made up my own stuff, gave it away. Then I met with a marketing coach in 2017, January. I had met her while I was doing multi-level marketing and found an event on Facebook. So met with her and she was like, girl, you have a business. And I was like, oh, okay. And you probably know her, Sean Thomas. I met with her and I was like, oh, for real? I was like,
Mhm.
oh, okay. And she really helped me to navigate that process. Because people think entrepreneurship is just so easy. I'm grateful that I did multi-level marketing because they do
Mhm.
teach you how to be a go-getter.
They
But I
do.
used to have like panic attacks because I'm like, I don't know these people. I don't want to talk to them. People
Mhm.
don't know I was a licensed insurance agent. And
Mm.
they were like, oh, you got to go talk to people. I'm in the grocery store, like, oh, okay, I'm going to go talk to them. And then I would walk, like, oh, no, 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 I'm not going to talk to them. But Dr. Flava, I would talk to anybody. So that lets you know you got to follow your passion. But it taught me, like, you got to have that, confidence about what you're doing. But I wasn't
Right.
confident about that. So yeah, so that was 2017, helped me navigate through the process, branding, strategy, different things like that while I was working as a pharmacist. And that's how I got started. And then I went from 2 to 10. I have 10 now and I have some more coming for
Mhm.
the holidays. So the process for me is I can be eating something. And I'm like, what is that they have in there? Like, what is
Mhm.
that flavor profile? And I'm like, why do I like it? Because I'm always like, I don't want to have to go to a restaurant. I want to cook it at home. But that's just me.
Right,
But
right.
that's how I've created. So the garlic ginger lime came from when I was catering, and I would always cut up fresh garlic, grate the ginger, and it's a process. So I had to create garlic ginger lime. What else? I did two alkaline ones too as time progressed, because that was when a lot of people were telling me about Dr. Sabi. I had never heard of him before, and I was like, okay, let me create some alkaline flavors. And
Mhm.
then like the Nola, I went to school in New Orleans,
Mhm.
and
Xavier, right?
right, I went to Xavier in New Orleans, and I was pregnant with my son, and I wanted to go eat. I was hungry. Literally, I would tell my husband, let's go eat. And I created Nola on our way back in the car. And I write all my formulas out.
Okay.
I and then I'll start just playing around with them, and I'll get like a big piece of salmon. I'm like, okay, I'll take a salmon breast out, some chicken and some vegetables, and I start shaking different pieces, putting toothpicks in it, and like, okay, taste this. And I'm like calling people, my neighbors, oh, can you taste this for me? Like literally, I involve other people in the process. And then if it
Wow.
hits me, like if it hits me and I'm like, what? Like,
Like,
hey,
yeah, like it
then
had that pop.
right. I know, and I know it's a winner. So like the last two I just did, realistically, I decided I said I want two new flavors. I pray about it too. That's another thing. I do pray. I'm like, God, show me, tell me, and I'll just write it out. So if I write it out and I make it up and I taste it and it's good, I'm like, okay, God, good. Thank you, Jesus. And then
Mhm.
I may tweak it like, okay, God, maybe I need to, and that's how each one of these have come about. Like I didn't go to a company for them to do anything for me. It was truly me and God. And it just they've worked out and people love them, and it's helped them so much.
Beautiful. I love it. I love it. We got some comments here.
Yeah.
Hey Tiasha, hi, thanks for coming in. Um, it says are all of your spices, let me show this. Are all of your spices good to put on everything, or are they specifically made for certain things?
So, Vivian, every one of my spices I have, so I have this little cheat sheet I bought for myself that sometimes. So basically, it depends on your flavor profile. However, I have this trio pack, which I feel like everybody needs it. It has your original blend, which goes on everything. If you're vegan, pescatarian, or if you eat everything, okay, the original everything will help you. The Creole Delight, I love that. It's not spicy at all. My kids can eat it. It gives you a little bit of pop of flavor, but that goes on your seafood, your chicken, your shrimp, and your vegetables. And then the Nola, I love it. It's really, really good on your vegetables, your seafood as well. So I always suggest that pack as a starter, but it depends on the flavor profile that you want. But definitely once you go on my site, it kind of tells you which one is best for which foods. But I made them for people to be able to pretty much use them on all of your food to create different flavors. So say for instance, you like, I'm gonna meal prep this week. I'm gonna eat chicken, but I get sick of eating chicken that tastes like all purpose. So that's the beauty of my spices. You can still eat chicken 5 days a week, but you can use garlic ginger lime on one piece. You can use original on another one, Creole Delight. That way you're still making it easy to eat healthy, but the flavor profiles are different. But definitely my trio pack is a great starter pack, but they are for everything: seafood, shrimp, vegetables, everything you can think of.
And I have another question for you. Um, okay, that's not a question. But Monica says she needs all of them. Um,
Oh, girl, and guess what? They're getting 15% off today. It ends tomorrow. So
it,
hey.
it is sales day. So, Wakita said, are your spices in stores or just online for now?
So right now they're just online and they're at a few restaurants, not for sale, but they use them here in Atlanta. And I just picked up a new one in Florida.
Woo
So, but
woo.
they are online available for you to get, and the shipping is priority. I'm not, Wanda, I'm not throwing any shade, but because I'm in the business, I know how much shipping costs. And
Uh-huh.
what I charge you is for priority. Even if you order one thing from me like this, that's light, I'm not going to ship it to you first class. You're going to get it priority. I don't, because I want people to get their items. I want you to get them fast. And people usually like, wow. One of the things people say, you have such great customer service. I'm going to circle back. When you become an entrepreneur, whatever job you had, make sure you take everything that you've learned from there, even if it was a job that you hated. Customer service was big in the pharmacy world. I was a pharmacist at CVS in the beginning of my career. I'm a pharmacist. I have doctor in front of my name, but the patients didn't care about that. They're like, well, my doctor wrote it. Why can't I get it? And I may feel some, but I have to be as kind and as nice as possible. And my job, one of the things that I was good at was making it right. I'm not one, I don't like, I call it the back and forth spirit. I don't do that. I'm like, what is the problem? How can I fix it? And that's something that works well in entrepreneurship. I want, if I ever do something or something is not right, I'm going to make it right for my customer. Even if I'm losing, that doesn't matter. When you go to Nordstrom's, you return something, they don't say, well, did you wear this? Did you? They just take it back. Right. So, and sometimes even with a small business, I act as though I have a big business, because I want to give people great customer service. And I want you to have a great experience. When you order my spices, you get some recipes. So you'll get some recipes that come inside of it, because I want you to, like, okay, well, let me try this. This may be something you've never tried before and it's healthy. So you like, I want you to start off right, and you get an email with some recipes as well. And I just want people to understand that we can still eat that yummy food, and I want to help you in that process and make it as easy as possible.
I love it. We have some more viewers.
Okay.
Thank you, Joel, for watching. Thank you, Brian. Thank you, Ernest. Thank you, Caressa and Nedra. Thank you guys for tuning in today. And Dr. Quinn says, hello, ladies. That's Dr. Quinn.
Hello.
Dr. Quinn has daughters that have a cake business.
Ooh.
They're the youngest, I think, international bakers.
Wow.
I believe they're documented as the youngest, because they be doing it.
Wow. Now bacon gets me in trouble. Ooh, I love sweets.
Beautiful family. I know that's right. And Monica gave you some hand claps, and so did the winning circle. They gave you some hand claps. Vivian said thank you. Monica said all of them. Vivian said recipes that come with it. That's nice. So Dr. Flava. Now I heard that you do workshops and different events. Are you still doing those things now that we're in this season? Or?
Well, I have done some virtual events. I've done some cooking tutorials virtually. I have done a few expos with this amazing company, the Black Coffee Company. I'm actually about to do one this coming Saturday. Okay. And it's a great, I went to Xavier with them, and a great group of wonderful minority entrepreneurs that come together. But I'll be one of the featured ones this time, because I am going to do a cooking demo. And one of the things that I do really, really well is show you how you can create these awesome meals in about 20 minutes. Wow. I am not one for being in the kitchen for long, because I told you I have a 5 and a 2-year-old. Right. And then not only that, how to create like more than one meal from the same thing. That's another big thing, because we get sick of eating the same food. So if I'm cooking baked chicken, like I baked some chicken today, guess what? We're going to have some chicken sandwiches too for lunch. So, and then that same chicken, if I cut it up, I can put it in some eggs. Like I'm all about like trying to switch it up to cook the same thing without having a remix. Yeah, it's called the remix.
The remix. I love it. And yes, Dr. Quinn, those are the youngest retail bakery owners. Yes.
Awesome.
Yes, they're amazing. I've interviewed them, and they are just a beautiful young ladies. So, and you have a one of your clients are here. She says that she's supporting your seasons, and she put them on her chicken and her salmon. They taste amazing, yummy. So there you have it. You all have a testimony right there. But
thank you.
Now I know you give a lot. I was reading your information, and you were
Hmm.
talking about your grandmother, and I can
Hmm.
only imagine you spoke about her earlier. How this is, would you say that this is her legacy that you're living out as well?
Absolutely, because she could really, oh my gosh, she could really cook. And it brought tears to my eyes. I found some old, like, little cards and recipe cards. So, like, back in the day, those magazines, people may still do it, but she would cut out recipes. And then she has index cards.
She'll
And I
put
was just like, right. And she had them, and I have like a little envelope. They're like yellow, brownish looking color, Danielle. But yes, definitely, because she loved to cook. And she, even though my grandparents are from the South, she did not cook, I guess, typical Southern food. And definitely it taught me to be a little bit more health conscious, because back in the early late 80s, 90s, she was very conscious about her health
Mhm.
and how she cooked. So I definitely took that from her, and definitely this is. So that was my grandmother, Miss Eunice.
Wonderful. That
Mhm.
is so special. I always say that, our ancestors, our bloodline, they have
Mhm.
everything that we're operating out of, you know.
Right.
And when you come up and you're these great cooks, and it's like, oh, great cooks running the family, or
Hmm.
or engineers or mechanics or whatever, like people just can automatically, I know a friend of mine just can automatically get in there and figure out how to take things apart and put things
Hmm.
together. And somewhere in their bloodline was, engineers that were
Right.
part of that whole cycle of this is what you do, and it just comes naturally. So would you say like that food, like you said in college you cook, so
Hmm.
and now you're just kind of doing a 360 back to the kitchen.
Right.
And what's next? What's the next move for Dr. Flavor?
Well,
Doing
definitely. So, Dr. Flava, I just realized something that I really enjoy was teaching people more about cooking, and that will definitely be something that's coming soon as far as some cooking classes and offering my services to people. People ask me stuff all the time, but I'm like, you know what? I do have something for people. Offer my services just to kind of get people on track
Mhm.
in learning how to help themselves, not only with my book, but working with me and being able to get that one on one, you know what I mean? And really help them to navigate how to get themselves back. Like I said, I'm on a journey too. And you have to pay people for different things. Like, yes, the food is my thing, but I was in a fitness program that I paid someone to really help me with the exercise, because for me, I don't like to exercise on my own. I need instruction because I don't remember certain moves. So I have to physically see someone do it. So
Right,
pay
right,
for a coach, pay for a life coach, pay for a health coach, pay for, and sometimes we don't do those things. And that's a part of self-care. You
right. It
know, you
definitely is.
you have to invest in yourself and know what you need. So, whether it's therapy or anything like that. So it's very important. So that's definitely what's coming for me. So definitely the cooking classes, the how to help yourself, uh that'll be something. And just speaking more. This past week, I'm sure you saw I was on Get Up Mornings, and I remember I put it on LinkedIn that I used to listen to that show every day going to work, because I only listen to 102.5. Like I tell people, I don't listen to Jesus music in my car, so don't be trying to change my station. That's what I listen to, okay? So I would listen to it every morning, very inspiring. And I was just like, I would listen to their healthy segment because they didn't always have that. And I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, and I used to downplay. That's one thing Sean told me. I was like, well, I feel like people should know certain stuff. And she was like, you know that stuff, but people don't know this stuff. So I'm listening. And I was like, okay. I was like, I want to be on that show.
Mhm.
So I would just think about it, think about it. And I was like, how can I be on this show? And I went when Erica Campbell was here in Atlanta. Um, I went to her book signing, and me and her spoke. And I was like, me and you need to work together. And I just was being bold, right? And then, but I've always stayed in contact with Griff. I had met Griff before he was even on the show
Mhm.
at an event. And I would send him, because I saw him trying to do healthy stuff. So I would just send him DMs of different foods that I was cooking. And
Okay.
then one day, yeah, I would just send him stuff like, oh, look at this, what I was cooking. Or I would be listening to the show. My daughter would be listening, and I would just send stuff. And one day I got a message on Instagram, was like, we want you on the show tomorrow. I was like, for real? And
Just
that's
like
how,
that.
right. And that's how it is. This past week, that literally was Tuesday night at 5:30. I got a text message from the producer. Can you be on the show tomorrow? I'm like, yes. We back and forth texting. And then I was on the show the next morning. So it's
Mhm.
like, definitely, I would encourage entrepreneurs, get ready for what you're saying you want to do.
Absolutely.
Get ready, because I'm seeing in this entertainment world, when people need something, they're looking for something specific. You need to be ready. That's not a time for you to be like, oh my God, I need to, you got to get ready. So
Mhm.
like, even with me and you, and this is how we're communicating. We're communicating on
On text, on Texas, on Facebook,
text,
on
social
Instagram,
media,
social
and
media.
things like,
Yeah.
yeah. So you have to be ready.
Social media is a utility. It's
Yes, it is.
not a something where when people say, I don't do social media, I'm like, my word, how can you not do social media? I mean, social media is a utility. It's like people look on for the weather, what's happening
Hmm.
in certain towns. They
Hmm.
go to social media, so it's definitely and it's acceptable.
It
Before
is.
it probably wasn't. It was probably
Hmm.
offensive. Somebody say, "You see me on social media? You supposed to call me or email me." Now it's like
Mm-mm.
social media, inboxing, dropping the DMs, leave what you
Right.
need to leave,
And
and
I
keep,
think,
and
I
keep it
think,
moving.
I think, Wanda, what it is, just to piggyback, people say that they're like, oh, it's too much drama on social media. And then, of course, it's that whole thing my husband watched the other day on Netflix, right? But I had my husband cracking up. I said, everything they were talking about, I said, but that's what I want to do with Dr. Flava. I want to put it in your head so much that you think about it. And if you're using it in the right way, Popeyes done got my money, because I done seen that commercial. I didn't want Popeyes, but it was, it was planted in
Absolutely.
my head. And I'm like, but I shouldn't be eating it, but why do I want it? And that comes from commercials, social media, but people use it for the wrong reason. For me, I'm thinking about it from a business standpoint, and the same as you. But if you're on there with all that craziness, then it can be, it can
Yeah,
be bad. But for us, it works.
like a charm. And you have comments coming in like beautiful comments, so I'm gonna
Oh
read some of
no.
these comments. Lisa says that she got some of these Dr. Flavor spices and loves them.
Yay.
Said, and Amber, hey queen, hey Amber's in the house.
I
um
see her.
and Amber says that she received that. I think when you were talking about being ready, staying ready.
Hmm.
That's what we talk about all the time, is we don't, if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. And if you're in
Exactly.
business, then you need to be ready for your next level. So what is it that
Hmm.
you want? If you want more exposure, then when exposure show up and say, hey, I'm ready to expose you, you got to say yes.
Right. Have your content, because we were going back and forth like, "Well, give me some ideas, and that is the beauty of it. And I definitely sometimes, like, it's a couple other things that I want. I was like, well, you know what, just send it. What can they tell you? No,
That's
you
right.
know, all they can say is no. So, go for what you believe in. And another thing I just want to touch is, I tell people, and I love God. I do. I am a preacher's kid, okay? And I show it in my business. If you look at my page, not only am I talking about food, sometimes I just put out encouraging messages, and sometimes those are the ones that get the most engagement, and I believe that my light has to shine. Like you said, my smile. People have been telling me that since I was a pharmacist. Like, people were like, you know what? I just want to tell you thank you for smiling. I may not have said anything to them, but I believe that smiling makes other people happy. That's why people like Chick-fil-A, because they say my pleasure. And I'm like, okay, yes, thank you. It makes you feel good. So if I can smile, it'll make you feel better. And that's what I believe. So definitely, I think that it's so important that we let our light shine. And I was on not Instagram, LinkedIn, because I forgot. I was like, Tremaine, you were sleeping on LinkedIn.
Hmm.
I posted something, and this one pharmacist, a couple of pharmacists came into my DM. They was like, "Oh, I'm guessing you're a Christian based on what you posted." And I was like, Tremaine, you on LinkedIn? Should you be talking about God? Yes. So I had a few people tell me how that encouraged them. And I was like, wow, because at first I was like, well, this is LinkedIn. Maybe you need to be a little bit more, this way. Not, but no, I have to be who I am,
Right, right,
So
right.
that's who I am. I love God.
And you get and the thing about it is it's authentic and you stay consistent with your message. So people when they
hmm
see you, they're gonna know she's gonna be smiling, she's gonna be happy, she's gonna be upbeat, and she's gonna be
hmm
bringing us some good stuff. So
Right.
you got great comments here. Everybody's excited.
Yay.
You should I know you're getting some orders from people that you haven't gotten orders from.
Oh, awesome.
So that'd be great. And yes, and Amber agreed with you. She said, don't sleep on LinkedIn, gotten opportunities in there also. When we maximize social media, and that's a whole nother conversation,
hmm
but in maximizing social media as an entrepreneur is
Yes.
critical. And especially in these times where you don't have so much face to face or person to person engagement. So we have to step up our game
hmm
in utilizing these platforms, especially before they go away or before they're
hmm
threatened for cost. Right now it's free, so you just
Right.
got to know how to build these relationships up, and that's kind of like you and I met offline, but we
hmm
taken our relationship online as well. So
Right.
and that's what I sometimes do: meet people online and then take that relationship offline. So
Exactly.
it all works.
Exactly.
Well, I just want to thank you so much for spending this time with us today, giving us this information. They have your contact information, your website, your Instagram.
hmm
Any last words you want to leave our viewers?
Absolutely. So, one of the things, we had fun, I've been smiling, but one of the most important things I want you to do is to help yourself. I've been a pharmacist for 15 years. I have seen the decline in our health, and I've seen what diabetes, hypertension, and high cholesterol can do. So, one of the things that you can do for yourself today is know your numbers. And I talk about that a lot, knowing what your blood pressure is, knowing what your cholesterol should be, and knowing what your hemoglobin A1C is. I just did a post on it the other day. And when you know these numbers, keep track of these numbers. Don't rely on your doctor or your nurses to say, hey, everything is okay. Know what these things are. If you're on medications, please know the medication that you're taking, know the names, and know why you're taking them, especially if you have to go to multiple doctors. As a pharmacist, people would tell me, oh, the white pill, the blue pill. Well, guess what? They're different manufacturers, meaning that it may look different. So you could be on a Tylenol 25 milligrams and it's green with this company, but then we may get a new one and it's white. And sometimes people go by the colors of their tablets or their pills and they don't take them. So definitely, I would tell you to make sure you know the name of your medication and why you're taking them. If anything looks different, if you're having side effects, please talk to your pharmacist or let your doctor know. Never stop taking medication just because you're like, well, I don't like it. I don't like the way it makes me feel. Talk to your doctor. And if you're having issues with your specific doctor, find someone who works for you. If you feel like you're not getting the time, I always tell people, be your own healthcare first. You are responsible for your body. You have one body that God has given to you. Make sure you take care of it. And I always say, living a healthier life before the prescriptions. I'm not anti-medication, but I want you to do things now so that if you're in a point where you don't have to take medication, great. And as long, medication, they are chemicals. And it is not they're a symptom reliever. It's not a cure. So I always tell people, even if you are taking medications, do what you need to do. Exercise, lose some weight. I'm not telling you lose 100 pounds. You may need to, but try to lose 10 pounds. Start out with 10 pounds and go from there, because even the smallest 5% of your weight loss can help your blood pressure go down. It can help your hemoglobin A1C go down, and it can assist with your cholesterol. So yes, Dr. Flava, I love to have fun. I love to cook, but I do this for a purpose. I'm on a mission to help you transform the way that you eat and think to create a healthier life before the prescription. Yummers.
Yay! So thank you so much, Dr. Flavor, and we will be keeping
Thank
in touch
you.
with you. And I'm sure if we want to get that book, we can also get that at your on your website. Is that correct?
Well, now it is on. Well, I don't have any more copies, but you can get it on Amazon. So I put the link. If you go to my website, the link for Amazon is there. But I'm gonna get some more copies for the holidays.
Okay, okay, beautiful. Well, thank
Yes.
you again so much, and
Thank you.
thank you everybody for tuning in and watching today. I am going to skip over there to the Grady Taylor show. We're interviewing Dr. Valencia Stovall. She is running for senator, I believe. I might have said doctor in error because we were just with Dr. Dr. Flavor, but over on the Grady Taylor radio, we start at 8 o'clock. So if you guys are interested in finding out what's going on in this medical or in this political climate and what she has going on, you can definitely tune in there and join me tomorrow on the Grady Taylor show. I will be on at 9 o'clock in the evening speaking to the ladies that are putting on a wellness workshop, and they will be breaking down why they're holding the workshop and what it is how it is going to benefit us all from attending. So you guys, thank you so much for tuning in today at the hold on one second, let me just bring up something right quick. There we go. Thank you so much for tuning in today on the I Am Enough talk show where your dreams matter. Catch me next Sunday. I will be interviewing our men. We are honoring our Black men, doing some amazing things in business and talking about spirituality, talking about relationships, talking about entrepreneurship. So you definitely want to come in on next Sunday, same time, same station, same place. It is the I Am Enough talk show where your dreams matter. And I am your host, Wanda D. Hollis, the motivational queen. And guess what? I love you. And there is absolutely nothing you can do about it. So peace, and I'll see you soon. Bye for now.